Welcome to Play It Again. I'm Jordan.
And I'm Matt. I'm being held against my will.
Oh no, you're not supposed to tell them that.
Break the rules.
Okay, and we are playing Onward, a game about how Matt should move on and adjust his new life in captivity, it sounds like. Actually, right now I'm going to be teaching Matt to play Onward, although this is his game and he probably knows how to play it better than I do. But I'm going to try and do a quick rundown, and then we're going to play a full game after this. So if you're not interested in the teach, you can check out the full play. But for now, we're going to dive into the mechanics.
I'm very excited.
I'm
very excited. Yeah,
right.
Truly.
Okay, so let's take a look at the board and the area here. So we're each playing as 4 characters, and we have 4 heroes, basically. We have a team. This is a MOBA-esque game, and our characters have different colors, denoting their different specialties. Red is for attack, blue is for defense. And then we have this beautiful lane battler here. We have my base and Matt's base, and the goal of the game is to deal damage to those bases, and whoever... Well, if you destroy a base, you win, and then if not, at the end of 5 rounds, whoever has the base with the lowest health points loses.
Correct, yeah.
Okay. And then the map is divided into 3 main lanes here, like that, and then over here, and then there's middle areas, there's this river, which these are just normal spaces that you can walk in, even though they're a river and you'd think you might drown. And then we've got jungle spaces, which are these green spaces where we can go fight different monsters. So that's sort of the board layout. And then over here we have this item market. We can buy items over the course of the game. And we also have our decks. Every hero in the game comes with 6 cards, 5 normal cards, which are in our decks right now and have been shuffled, and 1 gold card. The gold cards are set aside for the first shuffle, and they get shuffled in once you go all the way through your deck and have to reshuffle it. And then the last thing on the board here is we have this health track. Everything starts with 9 health, including our towers. And this is the round track right here, the Onward token. It goes to round 5 and then the game ends. And also it shows the priority, just like in Guards of Atlantis. So right now the light team, that's Matt, has the priority, and he might lose it and it would come to me on this
I will
side.
lose it.
You will. So the way the game works is we're going to play 5 rounds, I guess. I think they might be called years, actually. I guess...
The rounds.
Well, right, okay. And every round, well, we're going to play more than 5 rounds, but every round has a few steps. The first step is shop phase, where we can spend any gold in our supply. There are these gold coins, and also jungling creatures will get you more gold. We can spend any gold we have on these items, and then we can equip them onto our heroes like this. And each hero can have 1 item of each color. There are 4 colors of items, and in each item deck there are the basic items, which are cheaper, and there's more copies of them, and then there's the super items that are each unique. So the first phase is the shop phase. We'll skip that in the first round because we don't have any money. Then we have a plan phase, and then the plan phase in priority order. So this is the priority token. It shows the light team, so Matt will plan first. We each take a card from our hand, and actually at the start of the plan phase you draw 2 cards.
That's right, yeah.
We'll each take a card from our hand, and we will assign it to one of our 4 heroes that is ready. Ready means its card is upright, like this. So I could assign this card to here. And whoever is the priority player does that first. So Matt, you would do that. Go ahead. And then I would do it afterwards, so I could see what he did. Oh, he activated his red hero, and then so I'll activate my red one too. Then we'll flip, and now we're going to figure out who is faster. The way this is resolved is you look at the movement on the top of a card, and here we can
that planning card specifically? The
planning card specifically, that's right. And we can zoom in a little bit, so you can kind of see there's a 4 right there. So anyways, we'll figure out whose movement is higher. What was yours? Also a 4. So in the event of a tie, we will go and look at the we'll look at the priority marker, and that player will win the tie, and then they'll lose the priority. So
one thing I want to note as well, sorry Jordan, is that I pulled up and used a card for that same hero as part of my planning phase, and you use a different hero's card for your planning phase. That's totally possible. It effectively just helps us establish the initiative within the actual turn. That's
a good point. So these cards have this little flag at the top that has a movement value and an attack value. And when you're using this as a planning card, that's all that matters. The portrait doesn't matter, the text doesn't matter. If I wanted to use this as a spell, which is the other way I could use it, I could, and I would use the bottom text, but I would have to treat the character whose portrait is portrayed there as the caster. So if I wanted to play this as a spell, I'd be using it with the Harbinger of Revenge, Yami. But as a planning card, I can use it with anyone.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so in this case, you had 4 and I had 4, so we tied. So you're going to be the faster player, but we flipped the priority token.
Great.
If it wasn't a tie, then we wouldn't change this token at all. It would just be whoever has the higher movement value, they're going to go first. And then we're going to go through these phases on this player aid. The fastest hero is going to take a turn. Then we're going to do some upkeep. There's going to be a minion phase and then a jungling phase. Then the slowest hero's turn comes. So things happen in between the 2 turns of the players. And then we'll come to the onward phase at the end, and that'll be the round. So on a hero's turn, they get to spend, they get to use either the flag on their planning card or the flag on their hero card itself. So here I have the choice between 4 movement and 1 attack on my planning card, or 2 movement and 1 attack on my hero card. So I'm going to pick the 4 movement. But you can imagine that I might have different sorts of options. Like this card here I could have played has 0 movement and 3 attack. So maybe I thought I would want to do no movement and 3 attack, but when it actually comes time to resolve, I need to move. So then maybe I'll pivot and use this instead and get the 2 movement and 1 attack. So I can freely choose between those, and then I'm going to resolve those icons. So movements let you move. Movement on the board is from space to space, and essentially it's very hard to tell on camera, but there are these tiny little arrows on the spaces that show when there's adjacency between them. But basically, every edge is adjacent, every space is adjacent to every space around its edge, except there are these 2 walls here on both sides that make these spaces not adjacent to the center space. And importantly, we also have these barriers, these towers, which block adjacency for our opponents. So if I wanted to move, if I had 3 movement, I could go 1, I could go 2, but then I could not go 3 because this is blocking adjacency for me. I could, however, just go into this river if I wanted to. That would be fine. And likewise, you can move through your own towers, but not through my towers.
Correct, yeah.
So that's all the movement rules, effectively. And then for the attacking rules, every character has either a little sword or a little bow on their hero card. And the sword heroes are melee.
Correct. Yeah.
And the bow heroes are ranged.
Yep.
So sword heroes, melee, they can attack things in the same space as them. And so I could attack, for instance, your hero here, like that. And my attack would be, I would have 1 attack with this card, or 3 attacks with this one. That's the number of attacks you're doing, not the damage that you're doing.
That's correct, yeah.
So if I wanted to do my first attack on you, let's say I had 3 attacks, I would flip a card from my deck, and I would look at the number in the top right, and that's how much damage I'd deal. And this card has a +1 on it, meaning that I get 1, and I get to draw another card.
Correct.
And that one has a 2. So you actually keep drawing pluses until you draw one without a plus, and then you sum up the totals, and that's the amount of damage you do.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, so that would be 1 attack. But I could, instead of attacking this hero here, I could also attack this tower. And when you're attacking a tower, you just kill it. You don't need to draw cards from your deck. You just kill it and remove it from the board. And the same is also true of these minions. We each will have these little minion tokens. The small ones will be 1s, and the bigger ones will be 3s. And
representing 3 minions.
Representing 3 minions. Yeah, exactly. And these also you just kill. You don't need to draw a card off the top of your deck to do it.
Because their health is a baseline of 1, and the drawing of the cards is determine the strength of your attack. So if there's already a baseline strength of 1, you don't need to continue drawing cards to kill that minion or tower. Right,
exactly. Okay, so I would resolve the moves and the attacks icons on my card. That would be my hero's turn. I might also have, these heroes have special abilities that come into play whenever they do, so that could also be something during my turn. Another thing I could do during my turn is I could do a cast. That's playing a card for its spell, and I can actually play any card for its spell, even if that card belongs to a different hero than the one I'm activating.
Yeah.
So maybe I move him to, and then I cast this spell, and I have to cast it with the hero who's pictured on it.
Yeah.
And then I would do that, and then I could go back to my moving and my attacking. That's the third thing you can do on your turn. And the fourth thing you can do is pass. And when you pass, you're done. Now, an important part of these hero turns, and this was true of this publisher's previous game, Skytear, is every action you do starts a stack, kind of like in Magic.
Yep.
So I could declare that I'm moving from here to here, and before that actually resolves, you could say, oh, I have a response to play.
Yeah.
And you could play a card. Now, to play a card as a response, that card has to have a lightning bolt in its bottom zone here. So this one, Spirit Heal, has a lightning bolt, meaning that it can be played during my opponent's turn. If it doesn't have a lightning bolt, I can only play it during my own turn. Okay?
Correct.
And so I can react, or you could react to my movement, and then I could react on top of that, and then you could react again. You can keep reacting as long as the other player keeps reacting with you. So every other card in the stack has to be the other player's card. They have to alternate. If you react once and I don't react, you can't react again.
Yeah, and
to the same trigger.
And if we are imagining a stack, the play resolves in the order of what's highest and most recent, and then subsequently follows the rest of those cards.
Exactly. So the last thing played, last in, first out. Okay. And you can also react to passing. And that seems to be a common strategy. It's like, okay, your opponent's used all the stuff they want to do, but you want to just get something in there right at the end so you can react to the passing action. So once the fastest hero has gone, we're going to move on to the minion phase, which is on the back of this card. There's a whole thing. But basically there are 3 lanes, okay? And every lane has one spot that has an M in it. It's right here, right there, and right in the middle. And that is the sort of starting point of the minion battle for each of these lanes. Now, what we're going to do in each of these fights is we're going to count the momentum of the minions. Every minion grants 1 momentum, and if you have at least 1 minion in the fight, your heroes will also grant 1 momentum.
That's right.
So in this case, I would have 2 momentum. Maybe Matt has this here for 3.
Yep.
So he would have 3 momentum to my 2 momentum. And so what we're going to do is say 3 minus 2 is 1.
Yep.
You have 1 momentum more than me. You get to do 1 momentum's worth of actions with this team.
Yep.
And you can spend it as an assault, and then as a siege, and then as an advance. So what that means is first you have to do an assault if you can. And if you can't do an assault, then you can do a siege. And if you can't do a siege, then you can do an advance. So an assault is deal damage equal to your momentum points to something.
Yep.
And you can choose what you want to deal it to. So if you have 3 momentum, I have 2, so you have 1 to spend. You could spend it here, killing this guy. Okay?
Yep.
Or you could spend it here instead and deal 1 damage to my hero.
That's right.
Okay. If there was nothing blocking your way here, then you have 3 momentum because there's nothing here. Then there's nothing, or let's say there's 1, so you have 2 momentum, okay? The first one has to be spent on this assault, but the second one has to be spent on a siege. And the siege is to remove a barrier in front of you. So you would remove this tower, okay? And if there is no tower to remove, right, the third option, after there's nothing to attack and there's no barrier to remove, it's to advance the fight.
That's right, yeah.
Okay. And so if it was like this and there already was no barrier and you had 3 momentum, you would go 1, 2, 3. And so you can make a lot of progress in a single turn in that way. And then once that's done, once all the momentum has been spent, each team adds 1 new friendly minion into that fight, wherever the minions ended up, basically.
Yeah.
So this is now the location, right? You would add 1 as well. And so we're going to resolve that here, here, and here. The fastest hero, that player gets to decide the order. Well, I don't know how often it matters.
We'll see. We'll find out.
It's important to note that these barriers that I've done, that we've removed, they have a keyword called retaliate. And so what that means is that, let's say it looked like this and you had 4 momentum.
Yep.
You would spend 1 to kill this. That retaliate deals 1 damage back to you. Okay. But you still have 3 momentum left. And then you'd move. Then you'd have 2 left. Then you'd retaliate, and this 3 would break down into 2 2s, and then you'd move again. Right? That would sort of be how that would work. And at the end of this line, over here, if this barrier is gone, and you have your minions here, what you get to do is you get to damage my base.
That's right.
And the amount you get to damage it by is your remaining momentum, and I would lose that much. And that's the easiest way to damage these bases. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. Okay, following the minion phase.
It's the jungling phase.
It's on to the jungling phase. So the jungling phase is every hero that's in a jungle with one of these guys gets to kill one. Automatically, and they take it over, and it's worth coins. These ones are worth 6, 5, and 4. 6, 5, and 4, so you take it as coins. That's the only way to get coins in the game. And those are the coins that you spend on these items in the shop phase. And when you spend them, you can get change. There's change for these, but that's kind of it. And so in the whole game, there's what? There's 6 6s, 6 5s, and 6 4s. So what is that? 36 plus 30 is 66, plus 24 is 80.
90. 24 plus 66?
Yeah, 90. There's $90 in the whole game. And that will never increase in number there. So that's the jungling phase. Then it comes to the slowest hero's turn. And then and then you're sort of done with that round. Now, when a hero is activated, their card is going to be moved sideways, just like that, okay? And
we turn it, sorry, they're activated, we're playing with them, and then once we're done with them, then we turn it to exhaust them, to exhaust them. Gone. Yeah.
To show that he's gone. And so then we'd start the next round, you know, and we'd activate another hero that hasn't gone. Once all of your heroes have gone, at the end of that round, there will be an onward phase. So that's the final phase of the round, but it only happens once everyone's heroes are completely exhausted. And during that phase, we, well, the outsider will enter play. That's going to be this
large monster.
This big dragon here, he's going to come into play. And all of the heroes are going to tilt one step this way. One step counterclockwise. There is a way that your heroes end up upside down, in which case it only rotate like that. And we'll cover how that happens in a moment. I think that's all that happens in the onward phase. Is that right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Double check, but I think I feel confident about that.
So a few rules I missed along the way that I want to get into. If a hero chooses to, they are allowed to directly attack your opponent's base. So if I had my hero here, I could, and this barrier was gone, I could deal damage to this base. But this barrier has a keyword called tough. And that means that no matter how much damage I do, let's say I reveal a bunch of +1s and then up 3, so I'm dealing like 7 damage with an attack, I only actually deal 1 of it. That's what tough means. And so that is a difficult, that's a difficult barrier to overcome. It makes this kind of unwise because these barriers also have retaliate. And so they would deal damage back to me and I would deal damage to them. It's usually not super worthwhile. The minions break that rule. The toughness doesn't apply to them. So if you smuggle 4 minions over to a base, they're going to get to deal 4 damage at once, which is why you kind of want to be able to do that.
Yep.
Another rule I missed is what happens when your hero dies. So your heroes have 9 health to start, but if that goes to 0, they die. And what that means is that their card is going to rotate 1 step clockwise. Now, if they haven't gone for the round, they're going to rotate clockwise and they're not going to go for the round.
Right.
They're going to lose their next turn. But if they have already gone for the round and they're already clockwise like this, then they're going to rotate upside down. And what that means is in the next onward phase, they're going to rotate back and still be exhausted, meaning that they're going to miss their next turn. So no matter what, if you kill a hero, it loses its next turn, whatever that next turn would be. And that is the hero death situation. I think that's all you need to know. I mean, there's going to be more details around the exact nature of the cards. We haven't talked about what this beast does. I guess we can talk about that briefly. Right, so he's got 4 different heads. And I think each head has 5 health. And if you kill a head all the way down, then you get to put this marker on one of the lanes, and you permanently have +2 momentum in that lane. So I could choose this lane, I could choose that lane, I could choose that lane. And if it was the last health, if it was the last head, you killed the 4th one, then you have tamed the outsider and you flip this card over, and it becomes a hero for you.
Yeah.
It's like your 5th
It's incredibly
hero.
powerful.
So, you know, that's a dangerous thing to let happen. These heroes can also flip and become upgraded, and the way that you do that is if you kill an opposing hero, so if you reduce them to 0 health. If that happens by way of an attack of one of these heroes, that hero flips. If that hero's already flipped, you can flip a different hero. If it happens by way of a minion or a retaliate or something, you still get to flip one of your heroes, even though that hero didn't actually do the killing. So every time one of your opponent's heroes dies, you get to level up one of your heroes. I think that's all you really need to know to get started with the game. Any closing thoughts?
No, that was great. An incredible teach. To just kind of like reiterate what we're doing, we're basically going to be following the round phase for each of our heroes and then restarting it once we're done with that hero until we've exhausted all of our heroes, and then we do the onward phase and start anew.
Right, and right, when the onward phase, that is one thing I missed. When the onward phase happens, that's what advances this token. And so after 5 rounds of play, the game will end. Whether or not we've, you know, finished killing off our opponent's base. Cool. I'm really excited to play this. I take it you are as well.
I'm stoked. There's, you know, been $90 of beasts in this game. As a shopaholic, I'm excited to get all that money and buy everything from the store. This is exactly my kind of game.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because this game comes with minis for everything. Or not comes with, it offers you the option to purchase minis. And they're probably nice. I played Skytear, so I've seen what the mini quality is, and it's okay, yeah. But for streaming, I feel like these tokens are great. Because they're very clear, like that's what that is. Whereas a mini, standing up would be a little bit less clear. So I'm glad we're playing with the tokens for now.
This will be very fun.
Cool. All right, well, thanks for sitting through the teach. Thank you guys for checking out the game. And we'll be back with a full gameplay. So thanks for watching.